Hi, everyone. This is Group D, and as we got to know each other and started talking with all of our assignments and stuff, we all kind of realized that we all have a good amount of experience with small group instruction, whether it was self contained, resource, in the regular classroom, or just pulling, any type of regular ed student into a small group. And as we talked about that, we kind of decided we wanted to dive a little bit deeper into that. So, our study explores how educators' personal and professional experiences shape their approaches to structured literacy through small group instruction. And our research question was, how can personal and professional experiences reshape an educator's approach to structured literacy in a small group setting over time? For one of my vignette examples, I really reflected on a time that made me feel really special and kind of warm and cozy inside. And Christmas is a holiday that I love to this day, and this probably has a lot to do with that. But one of my elementary school teachers had handpicked a book for every student and wrapped them up for Christmas. At the time, the students just saw that we had presents. We didn't know what they were, and we all kind of opened them one by one and got to see what our present was. And it was a book that she picked for everybody. And this just seemed so personal and thoughtful, and it made me feel very understood and cared for as a student, and made me realize that reading could be personal while also growing my reading skills at school. Clearly, my teacher put a lot of thought into picking out a book for each of her students, and it made me feel special because it meant that she paid attention to what I liked and what I was interested in. Kind of made me feel seen as a person and a student, and made me feel different from everybody else. Um, I just remember loving watching everybody else in my class open their books and seeing which one she had picked out for them and learning about their interests too. Unfortunately, I don't remember what book she picked out for me, and I wish I could so I could, reflect back on that since it was such a good time in my life that point. But if I had to guess, I think it would be a mystery book since I was always interested in those and still am to this day. I think this experience kind of showed me how teachers can connect with their students individually and without even having to talk to them. This act kind of made me excited to read the book because I knew it was specially picked out for me. Whereas if it was another book, I probably wouldn't have been that interested in reading it. This is something I would love to do for my sixth grade students. And they, even at this age in sixth grade, they still want to be um, connecting with their teacher and wanted and liked by their teacher. But since I teach over about 100 students, I'd have to find a less expensive way to do this, which I was thinking maybe like an excerpt or something from a book that I think that they would like, and kind of surprise them in that way. But yeah, this was just really heartwarming to reflect on that time in elementary school, and something that I want to do for my students as well.
When my son was little, I watched him fall head over heels in love with reading. He was in second grade, and his favorite book was Stregononia by Tommy D. Puala. And he would read it aloud to me in his sweet little tiny voice. And he was so confident and empowered by those pages, and it was just pure magic. However, at the time, I was not a teacher. I had not worked in education, so I didn't realize how far ahead he was compared to other kids his age. But I knew he had a passion, and that passion transformed his life. So by the time he was in second grade, I was beginning to watch his reading journey, and it truly inspired me to take my very first step toward a career in education. As I began working in classrooms, my ideas about how children learn to read were put to the test because I used to think that if a child had strong speaking skills, reading would naturally follow. And later experience quickly showed me it's not that simple. Over the past year, I started working closely with students, those with IEPs, and I realized, children's confidence is so fragile when they are faced with reading, and if they do not have those skills, it can be a breaking point. And so that's exactly what happened when a student broke down in tears during a simple reading task. I was just a long-term substitute, so I was, not fully aware of where they were academically, but I thought, since this child was in fourth grade, I assumed that they could read simple tasks, but it kind of broke my heart. And it also helped to reshape my teaching philosophy. And I realized that my job was never just about teaching those skills, it was about building trust. And that experience taught me to never make assumptions about what a student knows or what they can do. And reading can feel scary, but school should be a place of joy and security. So today, my goal is to build a calm, structured, and safe space where every child feels secure enough to try, fail, grow, and succeed. Just like my son found his voice and power through Striganonia, I want to help every student who walks through my door discover that exact same joy, power, and confidence in reading.
In my example, I discussed how reading has never really come easy to me. I used to enjoy reading when I was a little girl with my mom. And as I've gotten older, I've kind of gone through a phase of like where I enjoy reading and then I don't, and then I enjoy it. It just is really hard for me to find time to sit down and not think about the million other things that I need to do. However, I have really enjoyed getting to discuss reading with my peers in my group as well as a class, because I feel like I have a much better understanding about how important reading is and how important it is for me as a kindergarten teacher to implement effective reading strategies within my whole group and small group lessons in order to help make reading a priority, but also something that is not frowned upon within my classroom. The science of reading literature can be described as research that explains how people prefer to learn how to read. Now, within the classroom, we are able to use this study in order to change our reading instruction to best implement strategies that are effective for teaching students how to read. We are able to use a student's learned experience in the outside of the classroom, within the classroom, by maybe grouping students that have similar backgrounds, similar interests, so that way they can build upon each other. One of the great things about this is that it's able to emphasize literacy skills and comprehension because we are using what we know a student is strong in to implement within the instruction.
Looking across our shared experiences, 3 core themes emerged. Together, these moments capture our collective shift toward more responsive and evidence-based teaching. Our first theme is about refining through differentiation and flexibility. We know teaching requires flexibility. We know every classroom dynamic is unique, and small group instruction allows us to adjust quickly. Through trial and error, our shared conversations showed that experience strengthens how we plan and respond in the moment to meet students where they are. Secondly, our data showed a clear shift away from assuming students can read simply based on.
After our group did all of our research and discussions and vignettes, we all kind of came to the conclusion that we all three have a very big growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset when it comes to teaching in our classrooms. One group member, Zoe, views professional growth as an ongoing process and believes that reflecting on classroom experiences, engaging in professional development, and collaborating with educators are an essential way to improve literacy instruction for adolescent readers in her 6th grade classroom. Jenna views reading as an essential part of early learning. As her being a 2nd grade teacher, she wants to meticulously plan and prepare for small groups to ensure her students are receiving quality instruction when they're in her care. And she believes that without the foundational skills, students are sure to fall behind as they continue through school. Mackenzie embraces continuous growth as well, believing that educators develop strong instructional practices through experience and collaboration with colleagues. And we all had very similar experiences when it came to small group instruction and how we want to go about that in the future.